Sorry for the wait. We finna go ahead and get it started though. Just give me 1 second. All right. So if you are in here, make sure you go ahead and leave me a comment, whether you're watching this after the fact or live. Make sure you go ahead and leave a comment just so I can see who's in here and who's enjoying the podcast. What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the Life of a Champ podcast, episode number 108. For today's topic, we are going to be discussing enjoying the journey. So this is a podcast that I think is very much needed within the self-development community, and a podcast that I feel like I've made a similar one before, but I do believe it's always necessary to remind the people that it's okay to enjoy the journey, because most people are so fixated on the results, right? And achieving the result, and they see it all the time in social media and things like that. So, with that being said, this is going to be a podcast that really will allow you to really take a step back and analyze the progress that you have made. So, if you are new, make sure you go ahead and subscribe. And if you are rewatching this, like I said, make sure you go ahead and leave a comment. Other than that, a few things I want to mention before. Make sure you go ahead and follow me on TikTok, just Life of a Champ Podcast on TikTok, as well as make sure you go ahead and leave a like on my YouTube Shorts. I'm trying to post those every single week. I'm trying to post. I'm trying to post more than I have been posting, but I'm gonna get very consistent with those here very very soon. So make sure you go ahead and tap in with that for sure. Other than that, yeah, let's go ahead and get into it, man. So like I said, the topic for today: enjoying the journey. So, like I said, the self development community is such a great community for a lot of different reasons. But the main reason that is one of the weaknesses of the self development community is going to be just not truly appreciating the moment for what it is right now. And I feel like there's going to be moments in time where you're going to need to really have a seat and tell yourself that hey, you're making progress, right? Because even though we all aren't where we want to be, completely. We are all where we're supposed to be, more importantly, right? So we are all where we're supposed to be for whatever reason. Our life decisions and our life paths and our inputs that we've taken in and the environment that we've grown up in have all led us to be exactly where we are right now, right? And there's one thing I want to mention with this, and this is something that I haven't heard anybody talk about, but this is something that you must believe. This is going to be believing in divine timing. Things will happen when they're supposed to happen. You must trust that. Now, you're not always going to understand exactly why you are in the position that you're in right now. You're never going to completely understand all the life events that are happening to you and why they're happening to you. You're never going to understand it in the moment. But looking back, and I'm sure you can recognize it with this. You can recognize this with your own life, right? Where there's certain things that have happened to you, right? Unfortunate situations that have happened to you, environmental circumstances that you've been placed in, or family situations that you had to go through, or just life situations that you had to go through in general, right? These are all things that are going to help you along the journey, right? There's going to be lessons that you can extract from each of these experiences that you can go ahead and take and that you're going to need for whatever reason, whether you understand it right now or don't. There's going to be plenty of like I said, there's lessons that you can take, those golden nuggets that you can take from those experiences that you're going to absolutely need, right? And like I said, you must believe in divine timing. We all don't, most people watching this podcast are not going to be in the exact position that they want to be in the future, right? They're right in the present moment. You're not exactly where you want to be in the future, obviously, right? And with that being said, like I said, I want you to take a step back and say, hey, I believe in divine timing. I believe that the things are going to come, the good things are going to come into my life when I have been acting the ways that I need to act, right? And doing the things that I know I need to do, right? And then the universe is going to put me in a position to win, right? Me putting myself in the position to win and just doing all that I can, which means putting in the work daily, is going to result in whatever I'm meant to achieve later on in the future, right? Like I said, the self development community doesn't really talk about that too much, but this is something that I definitely want to mention because I truly believe in divine timing. I've truly experienced things where it made sense that I've waited this long to get these certain things, or have had these certain experiences, or had these certain people come into my life for a certain reason, right? So I do believe in divine timing. I do believe that you know um, it can be confusing at times. It definitely can be confusing at times. It can be frustrating at times as well, right? But you must believe that if you're gonna put in the hard work, the results are going to come, right? And I know I'm kind of repeating myself, but I really want to get that message across that things are gonna happen when they're supposed to happen, not when you want them to happen, right? And I've heard that saying happen a few times, or I've heard that saying being said a few times, but I never really truly internalized it. And this is something that I want you guys to really internalize because it's something that is so prevalent and it is so real, right? It doesn't it's one of those things that you hear, and this is kind of how I see it, right? This is one of those things that you kind of hear when you're growing up and you're kind of just like, I understand what it means, but I really don't see how it applies to reality, right? These are things that apply to reality. These are things that truly apply to reality, and you will see time and time again within your own life experiences how they are applicable and how they present themselves within your life, right? Give me 1 second. Yeah, and one thing I want to mention as well, like I said, with the self development community and having this, let's get better, let's constantly put in the work, whatever, whatever, this hustle culture, this type of environment, even though it is healthy for most people, it can get to a point where it is unhealthy, right? And I would say I have reached the point past that limit where I'm just like, you know what, I'm always on the rush. Of course, I'm always putting in the work as I'm supposed to, but I feel like there's this phase you go through where your mind is so fixated on just the absolute fascination and your interest of self development. And you eventually get to the point where you recognize that it is no longer a thing to think about, yet it is just something that you are and something that you live daily, right? And that separation begins to happen. Along with that separation happening, you start to really appreciate the journey for what it is, right? And this is where I'm trying to get most of these people that are watching this podcast, right? I'm trying to get you guys in the position where you're not so wrapped up in the result of the self development journey, right? You're not so wrapped up because truly, when you're enjoying the journey, when you're enjoying each day, when you're taking in every single moment, when you're constantly putting in the work, that is where the result is. That is what the true result. Now, there's going to be little milestones that come up just from constantly doing that, but that is not the main course. And I feel like a lot of people don't have that perspective. That is not the main course. That is just a reaction. That is just a reaction from the result. That is the what? How do I want to say it? That is just the consequences of your actions, and it is just as simple as that, right? It's supposed to happen, right? These extraordinary things are supposed to happen within your life because you've been putting in the work. You've decided not to go out like most people. You decided to take a route that's different from most people's lives, right? And I mentioned this in the last podcast, and this is so prevalent to this one, right? This is something that I've taken to heart. Truly, if you want to live an unconventional life, you must take unconventional steps, right? You must take the unconventional journey in order to get unconventional results, and that is exactly what it is. That is exactly what it is. It's meant to happen. That's just the way it is. It's just meant to happen. It's going to happen if you put the work in. And with that being said, that's where the enjoyment of the journey truly starts. Start saying, hey, this journey that I'm on, I'm going to be constantly getting better. I'm going to be constantly evolving. I'm going to be constantly changing. The people that come into my life are going to be constantly evolving as well, and I'm going to be helping them out throughout the way, right? That is that is the result in the journey itself, right? Like I said, you hit the milestones, but that is the result. That is the true foundation of what constantly is going to keep you going, right? Like I said, fellas, do not get so wrapped up in the result, right? Like I said, the results are meant to come. They're supposed to come. Now, not being content with the journey is a lot of roadblocks for most people, right? They get so fed up with this constant mundane, and that's something that also like isn't talked about within the self development community. Shit gets mundane. The shit truly gets mundane, but it becomes a way of life, right? And here's the thing: you shouldn't want it any other way. It's just a way of life. And with that being said, hold on, let me respond to some of these comments real quick. The thing I see self development as focusing on the goals that you want to achieve, which means choosing your passion and means for the world and how you want to live. Exactly. So I would like to do things that I would need to get better. Yeah, exactly. He's exactly right. Yeah, that's the exact way it's supposed to be. That's the exact way it's supposed to be, man. All right, I want to mention this quote, and I think I've mentioned on the podcast before, but it is just one of the most it says exactly the epitome of this podcast in this one in specific, enjoying the journey, right? Shout out to Big Sean. He says this quote: "It's not about the trophy; it's about what it took to grab it." Think about that for a second. It's not about the trophy. It's not about the end result. It's about what it took to grab it. It's about putting in the work daily, doing it when you don't feel like doing it, pushing past the barrier of resistance that do exist and that show up time and time again. It's getting past those moments. It's enjoying the journey. And more importantly, one thing I want to mention as well with enjoying the journey, right? Fellas, if you're not living the journey out with people that you truly enjoy, you're doing the journey wrong. You should not be doing this journey along by yourself, right? Let me just say that. Let me just say that. I feel like that is also a misconception within most people's vision of their self development journey, right? They don't truly understand that if you're not enjoying the journey with other people, right? You're not truly enjoying the journey, right? If you're not indulging yourself with a group of people that are truly like minded, like I said in the last podcast, the mastermind group. If you truly do not have a mastermind group, you're not going to be able to enjoy the journey as much as you would like. And like I said, I see a lot of people take this lone wolf route, right? And that's not the way to go. If you truly want the best out of your life, you're going to need people. And people kind of just want that lone wolf status just so they can say they did it by themselves, right? It's not about doing it by yourselves. It's about getting it done and getting it done with people that you love. More importantly, right? That's ultimately what it comes down to. So like I said, that quote right there is absolutely perfect. Like I said, it's not about the trophy. It's about what it took to grab it. Simple, simple. And one thing I want to mention as well with enjoying the journey, right? If you're watching this, this is going to be catered to people that are going to be a little bit younger, that are on their self development journey, that are constantly trying to strive for their better self, right? And with that being said, with enjoying the journey, you must have this paradigm that we are young, we have time, and we are farther than most, right? So yes, we are young. If you're watching this, you're probably under 25. Most people watching this, the audience that I'm catering this towards is going to be under 30 at the very least, right? Under 30. And with that being said, there's so much time left in this game, right? And not everybody is fortunate enough to enjoy that time. But at the same time, let's just say for the most part, most of us are going to be able to enjoy that time, and most of us are going to have that time, right? And with that being said, you must recognize that if you're putting in the work daily, if you're choosing to make the correct sacrifices, and if you're being introspective on yourself and asking yourself the right questions, you're going to be farther than most, right? And of course, it's not exactly a worthy comparison to be comparing yourself to, people that are not on the same type of journey. But at the same time, that just gives you some perspective of where you are in the journey, and also should allow you to have that introspection where you are farther than most, right? You are doing things that most wouldn't do. You're taking an unconventional route. You are, like I said, sacrificing things that most people are not willing to sacrifice, right? And that in itself just allows you to hopefully enjoy the journey that much more, because you recognize that we're so young. We're so early on in the process, and this is a long game, fellas. This is a long game. We're playing the long game right now. It's not a race, fellas. It's not a race. It's not a race, man. It's a marathon, right? Treat it as a marathon, right? And one thing I want to mention with people not treating it like a marathon, right? A lot of people think it's a race, man. It's truly not a race. Society will give you this false perception that it is a race because you see so many people succeed. Oh, this guy achieved this at a young age, whatever, whatever. He's a millionaire, blah, 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 whatever, 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 right? Understand that you must run your own marathon, right? It's not a race, man. It's not a race. And a lot of people that think it's a race, I would say, they're still in their early years of self development. And with that being said, a lot of them get burned out, right? A lot of them get burned out, and they understand that they can't maintain that level of intensity all the time, right? And that is another thing with recognizing within the journey, right? Recognize that there is going to be highs, there is going to be lows, but you must enjoy all the highs and the lows, because if you never had the lows, then you would never really enjoy the highs, right? There would be no point of having the highs if it wasn't for the lows, right? The lows are something to be appreciative for, because like I said, without those, man, the highs wouldn't be as high, right? And like I said, that goes along with enjoying the journey, right? There's going to be moments where you're not going to be in the most favorable position, right? You're not going to be able to make the best move on the chessboard, but at the end of the day, just be glad you're in the game, man. Just be glad you're in the game. Just have that appreciation for life in itself. And if you're able to do that, and like I said, truly enjoy the journey for what it is, and just be thankful that you're even having this experience in the first place, you're going to be in a much better position. And that's going to be also contributing to your mindset that will hopefully allow you to push past the hard moments that will come up, that will inevitably come up, right? It's not if, it's when, right? Those moments are going to come up, and when they come up, you're going to need to be adaptable, right? You're going to need to be adaptable in those certain situations because a lot of people they just crumble, right? And if you're a person that doesn't want to crumble in those positions that could be perceived as a vulnerability, you must recognize that it's all going to come down to mindset, right? You're doing the best in life when you have the best mindsets, period. So when you're doing the worst in life, you've lost sight of some of those mindsets that had held you to the standard that you would like, right? So take that into mind, and understand there's going to be certain moments in your life where you're going to need to, put yourself in in a mental state where you're feeling of gratitude, right? You feel this sense of gratitude, right? And like I said, man, just be thankful, man. Just be thankful, even if there's not that many things to be thankful, right? I'm fortunate enough where I have a lot of things to be thankful for, but let's just say you're a person where I say that, and that kind of rubs you the wrong way. I want you to realize that there is things truly to be grateful for, to show your gratitude, and the more you can show your gratitude, the more you're going to be able to get out of this life in general, right? The more you're appreciative of people and the things that are in your life and the circumstances that you're in, the more abundant your life will begin to be. And like I said, a lot of people they just get so caught up, man. I don't have much. Man, are you breathing? Do you drink water, man? Do you have a place to stay? Do you eat food? Right? Those are the basic things of life. Do you have anybody that you love at all in this life, right? Those are things to be truly grateful for. But yet, for whatever reason, we lose sight of that sometimes. We lose sight of that sometimes, and it's because we start to compare ourselves to other people. We start to compare our journey to somebody else's journey, when in reality, it's not a worthy comparison. It's it's honestly disrespectful when you do that. When you start doing that to yourself and not truly understanding that life is, we have our own individual experience, right? Then you like I say, you start to lose track. You start to lose track, and you start to have that one saying come into your head that a comparison is the thief of joy, and that's exactly what it is, right? So you do not want to put yourself in that position, right? And avoid that as much as you possibly can, for sure. Give me 1 second. Another thing I want to mention with this, right, with enjoying the journey, with the people who are not enjoying the journey as much as they possibly can, they mix up these two things, and they conflate these two things, and it's not exactly healthy. And I'm going to go ahead and explain that right now. What that looks like is this, right? There's a difference between having a sense of urgency and feeling rushed, right? Now, a lot of people they truly feel rushed. They have this, like I said, they have that it's a race mindset, right? They feel like they're not doing enough. They feel like they could be doing more. And of course, you can always be doing more. And of course, maybe sometimes there's going to be positions where you're not doing enough, right? But at the same time, you must realize that you must have a sense of urgency. So you must recognize that your downfalls are going to they should be um, overcame a lot faster than most people's journeys, right? And most people's downfalls that they have, right? Recognize that for sure. But with that being said, do not feel super rushed, right? Do not have this rush mindset, because when you have this rush, rush all the time mindset, right? You're going to be skipping steps, right? This is something that I seen very early on in my journey, right? Is where I had this, I had a sense of where I felt rushed. I felt like I really wanted to get where I want to go. And of course, I still feel the same way, the similar way, right? But I had this feeling of feeling rushed, but when in reality, with that being said, I started to plan like 8 steps ahead instead of, taking the first few steps that I needed to take, right? The 1 through 7, or the one through 3, or you just even focusing on the first step, right? You'll recognize that you'll start to begin to skip steps. And in this self development journey, you must not skip steps, because if you skip steps, just know that you're going to be lacking. Maybe you're going to put yourself in a position that you're truly not ready for. And yeah, do not be a person who skips steps, because if you skip steps, just know that there's going to be positions that you will be in where you're not ready for, and life will humble you, truly humble you. So yeah, like I said, that's just what I've experienced my own personal on my own personal journey. Right, like I said, I felt rushed. I started skipping steps, and the life, of course, inevitably humbles you and says, "Hey, my man, you need to relax, man. You need to take a step back." Right. So have a sense of urgency, but do not necessarily make yourself feel rushed. Because if you feel rushed, like I said, you're gonna be skipping steps, man. That's not it, man. All right, give me 1 second. So if you guys are taking something from this podcast, I want you to go and let me know. Like I said, whether you're watching this podcast or you're watching this live, I want you to go ahead and leave a comment just like I see who's in here. And like I said, if there's anything in particular that you do enjoy of what I'm saying, I want you to go ahead and leave in the comments for sure. Um, exactly. KJ is exactly right with that. Yep, you're exactly right, man. It's so easy to start comparing. It's so easy to start comparing because it's easy to compare, but at the same time, you must recognize that you're disrespecting yourself, man. You're disrespecting yourself. You're disrespecting your own journey. Um, Everybody has their own journey, right? Your journey is going to be completely different and completely unique to another person's journey, and there's going to be a lot of things that you're going to be able to appreciate in your journey that maybe most won't be able to appreciate in theirs, right? And that just comes with the uniqueness of your own journey, right? So, yeah. Um, yeah, exactly, man. There's going to be opportunities for everybody, right? A life, you must believe that life is abundant. Life is going to be abundant with opportunities. Life's going to be abundant with resources and things like that. So, with that being said, women, whatever it is, right? Life is going to be abundant. You must believe that life is abundant. You must not believe that life is so limited and that there's only a scarce amount of things. Don't ever think like that because when you start thinking like that, you're not exactly sending out the rights. You're not sending out the right vibes to the universe. That's the way. Like I said, you can call it bullshit, whatever you like. That's just something that I've seen within my own life, right? When I'm in a position where I feel abundant, right? Life shows me once again that it is abundant, and right. And when I've had this scarcity mindset, regardless of what it's about, I start to feel like it is, and it shows. Life shows me that it is. It can be scarce if I believe that it is scarce, but you must believe, like I said, in this life, there's going to be an abundance of things available for you, right? And yeah, it's just as simple as that. You must believe that, man. Any other way of living life is not setting you up for a mindset that is worth having, and is a mindset that's going to be, setting you up for success. At least that's, like I said, my own paradigm. Give me 1 second. Like I said, if you guys have any other questions regarding enjoying the journey or any other comments regarding enjoying the journey that I haven't exactly covered, I want you to go ahead and leave in the comments. Yeah, man. Like I said, it's yeah. This is something that I've kind of seen with myself, I'm just I kind of catch myself laughing in certain situations, saying, "Man, for whatever reason, life has put me in this situation for something, for a lesson, for maybe I need to meet a person, maybe I need to intake a lesson, maybe I need to just have a conversation that's gonna turn on a switch, right? Most people don't view life like that, right? If you're not exactly where you want to be, I want you to try to realize the subtleties that life is trying to show you. There's going to be certain things, certain people, like I said, certain things that you need and certain experiences that you need to have that are going to make sense in the end. But truly, I want you to be very observant of those things because most aren't. Most are just living the journey. You must be living the journey and as well observing the journey, right? And that is something that I've seen time and time again where I'm kind of like searching for those things. Hey, maybe I need to meet a certain person this day. Maybe I need to have a certain conversation this day. Maybe I need to um maybe even have an experience, a negative experience that I never want to live again. And I make it to myself. I make it known to myself that hey, I never want to feel this feeling again. I never want to go through this experience again. So therefore, I'm going to make it known for myself that I'm not going to be accepting anything less than what I'm worth, right? Certain things like that. I've had that time and time again where I try to you try to switch your mindset in an unfortunate situation. You still want to have a favorable mindset, like I mentioned on my undefeated mindset podcast. You must create ideal conditions within the mind, even if it doesn't exactly seem to be ideal within the present moment, right? So, like for example, right, at one of my previous jobs, I was in a position where I didn't exactly enjoy what I was doing. Right, I felt like I was feeling belittled because I knew I was meant for so much more than what I was doing, right? And with that being said, I recognized that I was doing a thing that wasn't even like on my job description, right? And I was thinking to myself, I was like, man, I never want to feel this moment. I would never want to feel this feeling ever again. This feeling is completely terrible, right? And I made it known to myself, like saying, hey, you can change this. You can very well change this. You can say, hey, I'm refusing any situation that is going to make me feel this way. I expect more. I demand more for myself. I'm better than this situation, right? And like I said, just prove yourself right, man. Prove yourself right. Prove yourself right once again. It's simple as that, man. It's as simple as that. Um, you need those journey. You need those experiences, right? A lot of people don't see that as well. A lot of people don't see enjoyment within the journey with that, right? You need those moments. You need those moments where I feel like I read it in a book. I read it in what book was it? It's, Your Next Five Moves by Patrick Bet David. Great book. Very famous entrepreneur. I think it was like I think he called it "fuck this event." I think that's what it's called. Fuck this event, where like I said, you'll be put in situations, whether it's within your relationships, whether it's in your job, whether it's in a certain way somebody treated you, whatever it was, right? Saying, "Fuck that." I don't want to feel that feeling ever again. I'm gonna work and do whatever I need to do to avoid that situation, right? And another thing he mentioned in the book, right, and this is something that I did, right, is when you feel those moments, I want you to write them down, man. Because when you're feeling down, when you're feeling not exactly ideal, right, being able to rely back on those, those fuck those events, right, for fuel, those are going to give you that extra fuel, man. That is the forbidden pre, man. That is the forbidden pre in itself, right? Um, yeah, you want to write down those events saying, man, fuck that, man. I don't want to do that. I don't want to go through that again. So I'm gonna make sure that I don't, man. I'm gonna do what I need to do. I'm gonna take care of my business. I'm gonna make sure I'm putting in extra work because of that to avoid that certain situation. And yeah, one thing I want to mention as well. This is something. This was a conversation that I was having with my boy Anthony the other day. We were chilling, right? And one thing that I seen, and I kind of had this observation in the moments. And this is also with enjoying the journey, right? I looked at him. I said, man, these are the good times. These are the good times, right? When we look back in our future, right, we're gonna look back at this moment and say, man, that was a good time, man. So that kind of goes hand in hand with enjoying the journey. Recognize that there's going to be moments that you have that are going to be nothing more than a memory, right? And you must when you recognize certain moments that are going to be a memory, I want you to fully immerse yourself in that feeling and saying, "Hey, man, what a time to be alive, man. What a time to be alive, right? It feels great. Of course, like I said, more work to put in, but at the same time, enjoy it. Take a moment to enjoy that moment. Enjoy that moment because, like I said, it's a moment right now. It's the present right now, but in the future, it's going to be nothing more than just a memory and a past moment, right? So like I said, yeah, that was so profound when I thought about that. I'm like, man, we were talking about some memories that we had as children, and we're like, man, those were good times, man. Those were good times. And then I look at them, and I was like, man, these are the good times right now. These are the good times because even then, when we were having those moments, we never thought like that. We never thought saying, hey, these are the good times right now. We were just living it in the moment, right? But I told him, I said, man, these are the good times. So I want to enjoy it like we did those moments that were just, those moments of our past. So that's exactly what we did. We did whatever we need to do. We chopped it up, man. We had some good conversation, and that's exactly what was needed, right? That was the exact way that we wanted to enjoy the journey, enjoy that experience. Yeah, it is just as simple as that. Yeah, I think I have seen that guy before, KJ. That barber. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've seen him before. Not seen him, but I've seen his content before. Uh, yeah, I'm pretty sure I've seen him. I think he was cutting this little boy's hair, if I'm not mistaken, and then having some good conversation, talking about his future and things like that. So yeah, that was pretty good. But yeah, like I said, most people are get so caught up, man. They just get so caught up, and like I said, man, like I said, that was just so profound to me, man. That was a great moment. That was a great moment. Now that I look back as it was a moment, right? Looking back, and even now, it's yeah, it was like a few weeks ago, but at the same time, it is a past moment, man. That's just tough, man. That's tough. But yeah, like I said, that was a good time, man. So the next time you're in a position where you are having a great time, fully immerse yourself in that moment. Of course, I don't want you to overindulge within whatever you're doing, right? But there's going to be moments where you must take a step back and enjoy that, right? And enjoy it and say, man, these will be the good days one day, right? And then continue to handle your business, man. And when the day's over, the day's over. Hopefully, you already put in the work before you were having that moment. As I was, I was already done with my day's work. I already went to the gym. I already did what I needed to do. So therefore, I could enjoy and reap the fruits of my, hard work, right? With that being said, like I said, man, just enjoy this journey, man. It's a long journey, man. It's a long journey. Make sure you're spending this journey with people that are worth spending your time with, because like I said, there's a lot of people trying to waste your time, man. A lot of people trying to waste your time. But don't be a person that is going to be indulging within those people that are trying to waste your time, man. It's not worth it. It is truly not worth it. So, like I said, I appreciate everyone for stopping by. Like I said, if you are watching, I want you to go ahead and leave a comment. And also, if you would like to contribute to the podcast while it is live, make sure you go ahead and tell me something. Maybe either tell me a moment, or maybe tell me a certain thing that I'm missing, because there is certain things that I'm missing. Of course, you know, is this well put together? I would like to think it is, but I would also, be open to understanding that there's going to be certain paradigms that people have that I truly do not have right now, that kind of go hand in hand with enjoying the journey. So, like I said, whether you're watching this or whether you're watching this live, I want you to go ahead and contribute and saying, hey, when it comes to enjoying the journey, you're missing this. Maybe you should think this way, or maybe I forgot to say something, right? I want you to go ahead and leave in the comments. Appreciate it. All right. Yeah, one thing I want to mention as well, man. Your time will come. Believe and trust that your time will come. There's gonna be plenty of moments out there for you, man. Plenty of moments. Your time will come. Enjoy the journey for what it is right now. Make sure you're putting in the work, and eventually your time will come. It's inevitably going to happen. You must believe, truly believe. It's inevitably going to happen. It is just a part of your journey, right? It is your future life. It is your future existence. You must believe those things. You must absolutely believe those things with full conviction. That's the way I see it with my own life. There's gonna be moments that I have, and it's when I have those moments, I'm not gonna be surprised, man, because I already knew it was gonna happen. I already knew it was gonna happen. Like right now, there's not that many people watching, right? Give it a few years, man. Give it a few years. I'm gonna have so many people watching. I'm gonna enjoy moments like this when I didn't have as many people watching, right? I could just see it. I could just see it. That is just a part of my journey, man. That is just a part of my journey. Now, with that being said, that kind of goes hand in hand with the podcast that I made earlier this week, man. What is a part of your journey? Claim it. Claim it. Be clear with what it looks like and claim it. That is a part of my journey. That is a part of my future. That will be in the future for my existence. For my own experience, that will be the way it is, right? Set your intentions, like I said, be clear and claim it. Claim it truly. All right. Give me 1 second, fellas. All right. Yeah, so I'm going to end this podcast here off in a few minutes. Like I said, if you want to go ahead and contribute to the podcast, make sure you let me know. Other than that, I'll go ahead and end it off in about 4 minutes or about 3 minutes. So make sure you go ahead and tap in, say your last thoughts. And like I said, if you are rewatching this, I want you to go ahead and leave a comment regarding the things that were mentioned on today's podcast. If something resonated with you, or maybe something that you needed, there was something that I said that you needed to hear, right? Make sure you go ahead and leave in the comments, because um, that definitely can make my day. That definitely can make my day for sure. Yeah, this is one that I needed, man. This is one that I needed, man. I'll tell you that for sure. Like I said, enjoying the journey. This is gonna allow me to truly enjoy the journey, because the journey should be worth enjoying. 100%, 100%, man. Even if things don't make sense, man. Even if things don't make sense. Even if things aren't going your way, man. just be appreciative of the journey because, like I said, you wouldn't want to live it any other way because, there's going to be moments that are going to be worth having in this life. Just believe and trust that, and then it will come. Like I said, do not be so focused on the scarcity of these moments. Be very, very open to the fact that these things are abundant, right? The abundance mentality versus the scarcity mentality, right? Understand that this life is very, very much abundant, but yet people have this scarcity mindset. So the universe shows them, hey, if you think it's this way, hey, we're gonna show you. We're gonna reinforce the fact that you think it's this way, right? So, man, take it into account, man. Take it into account, man. All right, give me 1 second. See if anybody's on Twitch. If you are watching on Twitch, make sure and leave a follow as well. Um, Give me 1 second. Well, a few things I want to mention before I go ahead and end it off. There's going to be a few guests that I have on next week, which are going to be very interesting. Guests that I've never had on. I'm not going to tell you who they are yet, but just know that you should be looking forward to some guests within the next week of this podcast. So I'm looking forward to that for sure. Should be some really good conversations, and I also want to tap back into, extending this beyond self development as well. Just chopping it up, just about whatever I feel like chopping it up about, man. Music, whatever it is, man. So yeah, definitely look forward to that. And like I said, the content is only getting better around here, fellas. Give it a few more weeks, and I will be improving the content drastically with reactions. So I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully, I'll be able to do that sometime next month. But that is definitely going to be on the way. Something to look forward to for sure. The improvement of the streams will be on the way as well. So I'm looking forward to that for sure. But other than that, yeah, I'll go ahead and end it off, fellas. This was episode number 108 of the Life of a Champ podcast, talking about enjoying the journey. Shout out to everyone that went ahead and stopped by and left a comment. Like I said, if you're watching this, make sure you leave a comment if anything resonated with you. Other than that, a few things I want to mention before I go and end it off. Make sure you go ahead and leave a like on this video, as well as leave a like on my YouTube Shorts, as well as the videos are going to be anywhere from 5 to 12 minutes long. Just super short clips of the podcast. Make sure you go and tap in with those for sure. Just in case you can't watch a full podcast, that is going to be the route that you need to take, so you can still consume some of the podcast. Because, like I said, I'm spitting the game on here, man. Other than that, yeah, yeah, that's about it, man. Follow me on TikTok, Life of Champ Podcast on TikTok as well. Yeah, fellas out here, man, we don't just work around here, man. We outwork. So make sure y'all work with these motherfuckers every single day because you know that I am for sure. And I know that you are. So, like I said, I'll work these motherfuckers and you'll be good to go, man. You guys have a good rest of your night. And like I said, until next week, look forward to that. I look forward to that for sure. Make sure you go ahead and stay tuned. And like I said, new guests coming on the way. So that should be definitely exciting. And like I said, of course, spin the game as usual, man. Y'all have a good rest of your night. And like I said, until next week, man.